is how legends are made.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Trailblazer of Light, and we've got a treat for our little friend here, Georgia. Come on, come say hi to everybody. Come say hi, good girl. Say hi. Oh, don't be geeky. Oh, thank you. Alright, enjoy your treat. Okay, so we had a heck of a week this week, and the tests, they keep coming regardless whether spiritual or not. And the Bible says in Matthew, somewhere I just read it somewhere, and it says, like, God shines on the good and the evil and the rain, and he sends rain on the just and the unjust. So just because I'm walking my path doesn't mean that I'm not going to be going up against tests. And boy, did I have a test this week. So I bought a brand new car. Well, it's not brand new. It was a 2017 Ford Escape back in January. And I was so excited because I was taking that Ford because it had a hatchback, and I was going camping in it. And I had plans to travel and go camping and see some places. So I was unsuspecting of anything wrong with this vehicle until last week. And I kind of had something like wasn't right with the coolant, because I kept on having to fill the coolant up, and I didn't think nothing of it until my engine light came on, and then I went to AutoZone and I had them put it on the tester module there, and came out that I had a bad spark plug and a solenoid. So I went to go and have that replaced, but the spark plug wouldn't come out because it was, for whatever reason, rusted in there. And I saw when my son-in-law tried to take the spark plug out, that it was full of oil. And so I was like, oh, I knew that was something wrong, because I dated a mechanic, and I knew something was wrong. But I was hopeful it was just maybe the gasket cover, the seal needed to be changed out. And so I went and I had an appointment, and I had them change the seal, and a couple of days later the light was back on, and so I had it checked again. And so I had to go and get the spark plug out, which I did do, and I had the solenoid already, so I changed that out. And that's when I found out that it had a cracked block. And so I'd been paying on this vehicle. I started out at $6,300 and got it down to $4,500, $4,600, and I'm still paying on this vehicle, and it's a piece of shit, mind my French, okay? And yeah, I was angry. I got real angry, and I was really mad. I really felt like I had been swindled here. And so I got on the phone and I called the dealership that I had got my vehicle from, and he told me to calm down, that we would take care of this, because I said, oh, what about this lemon law? He says, you start talking like that, I'm going to hang up the phone and we ain't talking further. And I was like, oh crap, this mouth can get me in trouble often if I'm not mindful. And I had just had a conversation with God like 2 weeks ago about my mouth, and because I can still swear sometimes, and I, that just because I walk the walk and talk the talk, sometimes I am still human, and I have learned behaviors within myself that I'm still working on. I'm not perfect by any means, but I'm trying really hard, and I'm doing my best that I can. And so I went and picked up my Ford, and I brought it to the dealership where I bought it from because I owed, um, Josh is his name. I owed him an apology, and I wanted to do it in person because I'm left at the mercy of this dealership with this vehicle, and I don't want to screw up anything that I got going on with them already because they're actually really good people, and I liked him. He did me right when I first got the Ford, and helped me out with the fob that was messed up with it, and so we had formed an acquaintanceship, let's say, and so I bring in my Ford. I got a second opinion, um, and it had it was a cracked block, and so it was junk. And so I brought it to him, and he, he set me up in another car. I still had to come up with $1,600, and for taxes and liability and whatnot, just to make the deal for him and his dad, basically, uh, make it right. Because I didn't want him to go out of pocket either. He didn't know nothing about it having a cracked block. There's no way he would have known that it did. And when I bought it, there was nothing that gave me that clue except for that antifreeze. But even still, that's not something that you would know unless you tore the whole engine apart to find out, or put it on a tester, specific tester, thinking that might be something wrong with it, and you would never would have known. So he put me in a new car, and I'm so grateful for that, and I feel blessed because actually this car is actually a better car than that Ford. It's a 2016 Hyundai Elantra, and it's sweet. It's nice. It's a standard, but I know how to drive one, and I'm pretty confident with my driving skills that I'll adapt to this pretty quickly because it's like riding a bike. But there's a few things about this message that I wanted to talk about because I'm nowhere near where I used to be. I would have been spewing, which I did spew a little bit, but in private, having a conversation with God, and I was mad, and I was angry, and I was upset, and I finally just, I heard within myself, this is a test, and you're not passing it by acting like a child, and a spoiled brat, basically. Like, this world doesn't owe me anything. Just like any one of us out there struggling right now, nothing is owed to us. You know, well, there's a lot of things that are owed to us, but in the general principle of it, nothing is owed to me unless I put one foot in front of the other and I go out there and I get it. And so God gives us a boat and oars. And just because he gives us a boat and oars doesn't mean he is going to row us around a pond in there. And it's up to us to figure out how to row that boat. And so I'm 56 years old, and I'm figuring out that I know how to row a boat. And I got a lot of the pieces of the puzzles, and I got a lot of spiritual tools in my basket, in my kit, my spiritual kit, and I'm learning to use them. And I can tell you this, I was mad maybe 3 days, really mad for one day, and I started accepting what was coming down the pipe for me because I had to face it. The realization was this car was junk, and I was going to need another car because I'm not going to be dependent on anybody. I've been there before, and I'm not doing that again either. And I have really good credit, so I needed to figure this out, which I did do. I did figure it out, and I got myself into this car. However, in the midst of all of it, while I'm talking to God and everything, I ended up getting that, I trust you, Lord. I trust that you are going to get me through this too. You've been here all along. You've shown me signs all along that you've been here and you're not letting me go. And I trust you, Lord. I trust you with all my heart. And so I started playing a game with God. And I like, all right, so if I need a new car, let's get specific about what I want. Let's see. So I was like, well, I want a car that only has one muffler before it had two. I want cloth seats because Georgia has difficulty with the leather seats. But I still want my seats heated. And I still want a CD player. I don't care if I have a sunroof. It's too hot down here where I'm at to even enjoy that anyway. And let's see. Oh, and I had been on Marketplace and I was looking at this vehicle and I had the seats that I wanted for Georgia. And so I went and I was looking around at his vehicles at this dealership and there it was, the car. I was like, those are my seats. Those are the seats for Georgia. Yay! And I got inside of it, had a CD player, which I can now play my songs in it and my CDs, and it was good on gas, and I didn't ask for that, but that was a bonus. And the one thing I was not specific about was being an automatic. So the joke is on me, and God is funny because He knew I could drive one, and because I had an experience with God years ago about praying to Him and being specific in prayer. And I guess I'll share that with you real quick. I had been out getting metal on the side of the road with an ex of mine at the time, and we had been at it all day, loading up refrigerators and dryers and washers and getting all the metal and stuff and copper and whatnot. And so because they on the side of the street in the city, they do it once a year where you can get rid of anything and everything. And so that's what we were doing. And it started raining and I was hurting and I said, I want to go home. And so he said, well, just sit in the vehicle and I'll start, I'll just continue until it's full. And I was like, okay. So my uncle calls me and he goes, what are you doing? I said, we're dumpster diving. And he goes, awesome. He says, well, I hope you find $1,000. I was like, I received that blessing. And so I ended up getting off the phone with my uncle, and he finished up and he brought me back home. And a few hours later, because he went back out again, a few hours later he comes back with a jewelry box. And in that jewelry box I opened up, and guess what was in there? $1,000. Not $900, not $1,100, $1,000. But it was fake $100 bills, but like this big. It wasn't Monopoly money, but it was big size, and so I started laughing because I got the joke right away with God and Father. He's so funny, and He does have a sense of humor, and so so I ended up calling my uncle back up, and I told him the story, and I said, and guess what the lesson is here? And he was like, what? And I says, be more specific with your prayer. So next time he says, I hope you find $1,000, I'm going to say real money that you can buy and spend on stuff, and be specific in your prayer. And so even with this car, I wasn't totally 100% specific with the car, but everything I had mentioned, it's got one muffler, and it's got low miles. That was another bonus I didn't ask for, and I asked that nothing be wrong with it. And so I did go and get an inspection done on this vehicle, and it's got a little bit of rust underneath of it, but it's nothing like where I came from, where that rust just takes out your fenders and your your rocket panels and all that, rocker panels and all that other stuff. And so yeah, I got a test and it passed. There's nothing wrong with this vehicle. It does have 2 recalls on it, but yeah, that's nothing. That's free. And so anyway, I wanted to share that, you know, because I did, like, I was able to find that peace in all of it. And when I went and traded the vehicles over, it went so smoothly. And Josh and his dad, they were like really cool with me and everything, and I really appreciated that. And I'm really glad that I bit my tongue, and I didn't get mouthy and whatever, and ruin my chances of getting myself into another vehicle. I do have to start all over again with my payments, but you know, it beats not being able to switch out that car and be stuck with it. And it beats having to sit there and depend on my daughter to drive me around looking for another vehicle, which I didn't want to do that either. So it only basically cost me $1,600 to swap over into another vehicle, because he knew about the loan and how much was left on it, but he couldn't justify just giving me another vehicle, and so I only paid $1,600 for it. So on that note, God is good, and I passed the test. I didn't stay angry as long as I did, and I actually ended up finding peace and acceptance in all of it. And I also surrendered and let God lead the way in that whole situation, which I'm really glad I did. So on that note, go forth and sprout, and peace, love, and light. Have a good day.